the attack is when defenders
I think it's like
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on.
Am I live? Of course I'm live. People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. I hope all my Arsenal fans are doing well and safe. And now that the dust has obviously settled from that dramatic 3-2 victory against AFC Bournemouth, we can now start and dissect the game. Moments we could have done better, the good things we obviously done, namely getting 3 points, showing elite mentality, showing great fight from, Ramsdale with his big saves to obviously the people who are paid to score goals. Reece Nelson off the bench, Smith Rowe obviously got an assist. You have to big up Thomas Partey because I think he had a fantastic performance, and I also, have to hail him up for scoring. He's obviously let his man go, I feel, for the second goal we've conceded by Bournemouth, but collectively we could have done better in this game, people. We probably need to do a lot better, and for where Arsenal fans are concerned, and probably Bournemouth based on how their emotions, make the game less interesting for the neutrals, because I think Sky Sports and all these TV rights, they missed out on a lot of money not televising that game, much like half of these 3 p.m. kickoffs, people. So yeah, if I share my tactics board with you lot, having watched the game again, people, I'm trying to bring some talking points to you lot. Don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button, etc., etc. Now, allegedly, VAR had a check of the goal we conceded. There are some people in some outlets and some articles stating that Bournemouth's goal shouldn't have stood. I can't lie, skipping a bit from the kickoff with Beeling, with Solanke and several players. That was one you have to give credit to Bournemouth. It looked like it was a routine straight from the training ground. I can't lie, people. It's another one where Beeling from kickoff, again, first moment of the game, he's kind of gone free. And there were several people at crucial moments, Saliba, when it got there, Partey could have done better. Odegaard, he just made a run, really. And as I said, it's great play from back to front from Bournemouth, if I'm completely honest with you. Can't remember this lad's name, but whoever Solanke from kickoff gave the ball to him, it's him. They've made an attacking move. They've made it happen. I thought Gabriel did well to stay with Solanke, but he's kind of half run at it, kind of half flopped at it. Semenyo is also there in support for Bournemouth. The ball's come in. We've half flapped at it. Beeling's obviously made the run. We've conceded, people. And I thought Gabriel did well after initially getting tight. I think our team was disjointed as well in the build-up. Tomiyasu is actually caught with 2 players, and nobody crucially is aware of the runner. So you have to give credit where due. Bournemouth, it was straight from the training ground, if I'm completely honest, And again, from a neutral point of view, you have to give them their credit. It was like 4 or 5 passes. Solanke from kickoff has played his pass and hit the box instantly, people, and made a sprint towards our box. Again, Beeling was the kind of second runner. He kind of was trying to pick up strays, and that's what he really did. And again, we do play off sides. That's probably why we don't typically at times also follow runners, but it might be something for Arsenal to be aware of. The second goal was also disappointing from an Arsenal perspective because I feel we were kind of sleeping. If you look in the build-up to it, they've had a free kick, a dead ball scenario. We always knew what Bournemouth respectfully were going to come with, and I'm not discrediting them. 5 at the back, 4 at the back, 4-5-1, take advantage of set pieces, live on the counter-attack, try and frustrate us and take any sort of momentum and sting out the game, as shown via Neto's time wasting. But just like Neto has saw, just like Martinez, the one thing you have to give credit to the referees is they're clamping down on the time wasting. We're not all the way there yet. It'd be nice to get penalties if we potentially could, if they are pens, but fair play. I feel Saliba just got an important touch, people, in the build up to obviously them getting this corner that led to the goal in the first place, because if he doesn't get that slight knock, Stevens could have probably scored, and maybe he could have even done better. But anyways, there's a ball in the box. We're zonal marking. There's kind of 2 things. There's like 2 players from an Arsenal perspective. One's preoccupied with a Bournemouth man. Again, Saka's on the edge of the box. Martinelli is the closest to this man. And it's just a classic case of Solanke, Sensei, forgive me for mispronunciation. He's just kind of been a blind runner, and kind of Solanke stood in front of Partey, obviously skipping him out a bit. Sensei, apologies, has just made the run, obviously connected with the ball and pull it in the back of the net. And it's enough. Although we scored from 2 set pieces, Smith Rowe headed it back for Thomas Partey, and obviously Reece Nelson's dramatic finish. We need to get better at defending set pieces, because of late, since the turn of the year, that's kind of indirectly been an Achilles heel from us, people. So there was a lot of things that went wrong. Again, big up Arsenal, because it's how you react, and it's just about that willingness to win. I think this football game was another game across the Premier League which showed why football is an amazing sport. It's almost a cliche. I did think in general we could have done better on the transitions, people. In the 19th minute, Aaron Ramsdale did lovely, really and truly make that save. These goals change games. Moments like that change change games. And when you've had a dramatic 3-2 victory, Ramsdale isn't necessarily going to get the plaudits he deserves. And I think he does, because he's unfortunate not to get a clean sheet against Bournemouth today. His performance warranted that. We all saw towards the end of the Everton game what he did as well. But yeah, on the transitions, as I said, they're living on the transitions. If you remember, Saka's obviously had the shot blocked. Billings kind of snapped at it. He's kind of snapped at it and won it back. And Solanke's actually done well, really. I thought Odegaard did well to initially get back, but I feel to go to the next level, just like Manchester City, I'm not saying get yellow cards, but take the momentum out of games, really and truly, because Solanke's done very well. I have to give credit to Fabio Vieira, and I was a bit harsh on you. I don't think you grabbed your opportunity starting in place of Granit Xhaka, and I think this game also showed why, at least for this season, until people better than Xhaka comes in, pick him up, you can't really, even when Xhaka's form's a bit brazy, I don't think you can really not have him in the team, really. On paper, yeah, we should have been able to do a lot better and get the job done, and big up Fabio Vieira, because I think you're developing, but yeah, I think Xhaka should have started. But nonetheless, people, I have to give credit to Trossard and Fabio Vieira, because we've been caught against the run of play, really, as we're, we had a great reaction to conceding. It all was really one-way traffic with the occasional counter-attack, as we're discussing here. Odegaard was initially here. When it broke down, he tried to get there, but he just couldn't, could he, really and truly? Skipping ahead a bit, while Solanke's done well there, Beeling and Cole have just made the run, really and truly. They've just made the run off the ball. Beeling's, it's a simple give and go, and I think Solanke and Beeling worked very well for Bournemouth. They've played it in behind Saliba again, and big up Trossard for his defending. It's in behind Saliba now. If we skip ahead a tiny bit, people, just skipping ahead, eventually plays down here, right? And again, just for decoration, let's put some Arsenal players in there. I have to big up Zinchenko, but he was nowhere to kind of be seen in the build up to this as well. And again, it's not always going to be to scale with using this, people. But long story short, making these guys a bit narrower and exaggerating the point a bit. Balls come in. And if I'm honest with you, it's a big save from Aaron Ramsdale. He's anticipated it. He's made himself big. He's done what he's needed to do. As you saw in the build-up, Solanke head in the clouds. Don't know how he scored, how he didn't score. But there's two Bournemouth players. Two Bournemouth players, sorry. So Bournemouth did well in that regards. But if Solanke doesn't score, if Ramsdale another day saves it, but it's still in play, it gets tapped in. From us, we can do better on the transition. A byproduct of, the better we get, teams are going to sit in and try and take advantage as we make it difficult for them, and we're more attacking centric. But yeah, you have to give Ramsdale his credit for doing that. Unmarked players, though, and we could have done a lot better in that regards, but we move in it. It could have been better. It could have been worse. Fortunately for us, it wasn't, people. So yeah, they're the first couple of moments for me. Oh, I think I deleted something that didn't need to be deleted there. To be discussed. Hopefully I didn't. Obviously, it was good for us to get the goal. Again, Benjamin White and Bukayo Saka actually did well to win the corner for us, people. Respectfully to Tomiyasu, he's more of a conservative guy, and you should be able to get away with playing players like him against Bournemouth. And shout out to Tomiyasu. It was his 50th appearance, I believe, for Arsenal. The commentator said in some capacity, didn't put a marker down really. And attacking wise, when Saka is receiving the ball, hopefully I didn't delete the tab I actually wanted to use, people. Yeah, when Saka's receiving the ball, people, 9 times out of 10 with Tomiyasu, he's getting that. Now, respectfully to Tomiyasu, as he's playing a bit more narrower, and typically when he is trying to play like a traditional forward, Saka is getting it here. Now, Bournemouth are not going to mind that, because you're just going to get bodies around him. They're still going to do this anyways, but you're just going to get bodies around him. And 9 times out of 10, Saka's going to have to play it backwards and then make a run off the ball, really, where you don't mind that, really, because Bournemouth are playing with 5 defenders. They're holding their shape. When Benjamin White plays, and again, I'm not knocking Tomiyasu, because I think he's a very, very valued squad member. And again, you got to remember the job he did in the 3 points we got at home against Liverpool. I think there is games for him, not knocking him. But Benjamin White makes them runs. You saw for the goal, which we're going to get onto. He made him and Saka connected well for Partey's goal for the corner. Obviously, Benjamin White got himself on the score sheet. Typically, when Bukayo Saka is receiving the ball, moving these guys out of the way with Benjamin White, he does have to drop deep, but 9 times out of 10, he can stay central, because Ben White is going to hold that. That obviously brings in the Odegaards, as you can see, and again, Trossard, Jesus, and Ketia, who's ever was off the pitch, because it opens up the door to 1-2s and third man runners for Saka to drift inside and obviously do what he's paid to do, play these neat 1-2s, move off the ball like you saw against Everton for Zinchenko to score, or occasionally have an effort. But we need that, really and truly. Even sometimes Saka's going to have to hold his width and let White go inside, or when Saka makes a run forward, as you could see, we're going to get into Ben White's goal. you know. But as for example, plays, I don't know, let's just say plays over here, for example, and Saka says, "Do you know what? I want to make a run infield to try and score." Ben White's going to be left as a free man, which you kind of saw played in our advantage when the referee said the ball did in fact go in. Shout out to Reece Nelson and Smith Rowe for their impact off the bench as well. So yeah, Tomiyasu's a good player, but there's just games that I think are not kind of built for him. Again, as I said, that corner, that build-up play, sorry, on the right-hand side between Saka and Benjamin led to this. Now, I do think Arsenal, on reflection, people, and it's actually nice to see Benjamin White role on the goalkeepers in the build-up to goals as well, more time from set pieces, and you kind of saw that in relation to this. I think Arsenal, on reflection, or specifically Arteta and his coaching staff, they noticed that, and even when you look at Reece Nelson's goal, they noticed that. How do I make it make sense? In their own box, Bournemouth seem to leave a man free on the edge of the area, or kind of, you know, if we will win the header and clear our lines. That obviously did happen. They got it cleared out. Smith Rowe done well to just head it back into a dangerous area. It's not going to be the most glamorous Arsenal goal, but it was one of the most vital because it got us an equaliser. Partey's put it in the back of the net. It's 2-2 in that regards when we got our second, people. You know, obviously by then we're chasing the third, we're putting them under high sustained pressure. There was about 10 key passes for me in the build-up. By then it's starting to kind of look like this. There's a phase of play from everyone involved. Thomas Partey's kind of forced the issue. He's chopped inside. He's played it across to Reece Nelson. Again, players, as I'm saying, obviously in real time, players are not statues. They're not just going to stand still. Again, in real time, and making them a bit more narrower, in fact, because you know, I did think Bournemouth were probably focused on what was happening on the left-hand side. The ball didn't go to Fabio Vieira, but Fabio Vieira, Martinelli, naturally, as your players drift inside, Nelson's going to hold the width. As I said, Partey's kind of forced the issue. It's gone out to Nelson on this left-hand side. He's pulled it across. At the same time, Saka's kind of narrow. White's just kept his run. You know, he just kept his run. He's got something on it. Neto's flapped at it. The only thing Neto looked like he could do in that game was time waste. Boy, 2-2, another not scrappy one, but a fantastic time for Benjamin to grab his first goal for this football club. We're laughing at that sort of point, people. And then once again, you know, Reece Nelson's on the edge of the area. The ball's coming from a corner for the third from Martin Odegaard. It's headed out into Reece Nelson. As the man himself said, Bournemouth were, to be fair, they got out to him very quickly, and he's kind of had to take a touch, fashion himself. You look at, not that I'm complaining, but Neto's in goal. He, as I said, just time wasting and putting the ball out of play was the only thing he was signed up for. His starting positioning for Nelson's goal is terrible. Fantastic hit from the Haaland demon Nelson. More goals than certain guys at Chelsea that snaked Arsenal and cost a lot of money. More goals than certain strikers that cost 60 million quid down the Nando's lane. You know, I heard the chickens got fried again against Wolves. Big up Wolves and Sheffield United. It's crazy. But yeah, dramatic scenes. Nelson has put it in the back of the net and we're laughing. And once again, it's kind of, you know, again, it's kind of terrible because for at least one of the goals, Neto's half punched it into the path of Nelson, and then you've also had Bournemouth header it into a path of an attacking player. So yeah, we were able to do that. And big up Zinchenko for his involvement in the third goal because actually, you know, he's actually won the corner that's led to it. And it was poetic justice for the VAR not doing its job, for the time wasting. And I'm not knocking it from Bournemouth because they did what they needed to do within that game against us, people. As I said, I felt we could have defended better. I felt we could have obviously started the game better. I think we could have put Neto, like against Everton, before the last 5 minutes at the end of the first half when Martinelli and Saka scored. We react well. We put teams under sustained pressure, but we don't necessarily work the keeper. I feel transitions could have come back to bite us. And I have to give credit to Bournemouth really and truly for how they played. Not that I care really. So there's plenty of things we did well, namely showing fights, showing spirit, like at Villa away, refusing to give up until the final whistle. But there's a barrage of things we could do better in that game. Statistically, Reece Nelson has played 85 minutes of Premier League football this season. He has more goals and assist contributions than Anthony, who has played 914 games, and more goals and assist contributions of Richarlison, who has played 660 minutes for Spurs this season. For Nelson's case, you hope he lays down a mark for that. It is firmly now or never territory for the young man if he is going to carve a future here. Big up Benjamin White. You know, forget his goal for a sec. It's a bonus. He added something that we was lacking in the game, and he did well. And he was apparently officially named man of the match, people, even though you could argue that's Nelson, people. And it's another fight back from Arsenal. We came from 2 goals down, as you could see, people, which is obviously great. Nelson has scored 3 more Premier League goals this season than Richarlison. Arsenal have kept just 3 clean sheets in their last 18 home league matches, so there is something we need to do 10 times better. We took 31 shots, which is the highest total for any team in a Premier League match this season, you know, which is quite good. Bournemouth had just 4, so you could argue we did enough to win on the balance of things, 9 on target, but Bournemouth got 2 goals for their 4 shots and 4 shots on well, for their 4 shots and 2 shots on target, I believe. Beeling's goal for Bournemouth against Arsenal was scored in the 9 seconds, 11 milliseconds, and the second fastest goal in Premier League history after Shane Long for Southampton versus Watford in April of 2019. So at least Bournemouth leave with something. Today, obviously, yesterday was the latest Arsenal have trailed by 2+ goals in a Premier League game. They went on to win since March 2008, which was a 3-2 victory against Bolton. We are just the second side in Premier League history to concede in the first minute of a game, then go on to score a 90th minute winner after Arsenal versus Fulham in August 2007, people. On his 69th appearance for this football club, Benjamin White's equaliser was his first ever goal for Arsenal, the longest wait for a player before scoring their first goal for the club since Tajuru in February 2011, people, against Newcastle. Arsenal have won a Premier League game in which they have trailed by 2+ goals for the first time since February 2012, which was in the North London derby against Spurs, which we won 5-2, having gone winless in 65 such games prior to today. Lovely statistics. Reece Nelson, that is, has been directly involved in more Premier League goals as a substitute than any other player this season. In his 5 appearances, he has 3 goals and 2 assists. He's also netting Arsenal's second latest Premier League winner, people, which was great for him, people. All 7 Premier League games today have been won by the home team. Only the second day in the competition's history to have 7 matches with 100% won by the home side since the 28th of October 2000. That's an interesting one, people. Don't forget, I'm watching Liverpool Man United with you lot, so check out the videos and also check out the rest of the reaction streams. In Premier League history, there has been just 2 incidences of a team scoring a 90th minute winning goal, having gone behind in the first minute. Both incidences have seen Arsenal victorious. We did it against Fulham in 2027, apologies, and we obviously did it in 2023 yesterday against Bournemouth, people. Reece Nelson has the best minutes per goals involvement of any player in the Premier League this season, who has 5+ goals and assists. Nelson's is actually better than Haaland's. Crazy. Only Spurs have scored more goals from corners than us this season. They have 12, we have 10. Well, we're higher in the table. When you look at our record when in the Premier League when conceding first this season, people, we've won 5, drawn none, and lost 3. Last season, we won 1, drawn none, and lost 10. When conceding in the Premier League 2+ goals, last season we lost 12, drawn 1, and won 2. In 2022-23, apologies if I butchered these, we had 8 games, we've lost 2, we've drawn none, and we've won 6. We'll take that. Arsenal have recovered more points from losing positions than any other team in the Premier League this season, people. Arsenal have won 9 and lost just 1 of their 12 Premier League meetings with Bournemouth. So lovely to see. But now we focus, people, because if we could get the next Premier League 9 points on the board, I think we have Leeds, Fulham, and Crystal Palace. That would be great. The next 5 games, as you know, are vital. As I just said, Leeds, Crystal Palace, and Fulham, and we've got 2 games against Sporting Lisbon. We need to bring something home. It would be lovely to reward this season with trophies as well as just memories, because in 10 years, as great as this season's been so far, it's not that thing. So yeah, let me know your opinions, comment any thoughts you have. Please make sure you hit the like button. Appreciate all the support you lot give me, and appreciative of all of you lot tuning in here. One love, people. You lot stay safe.
There's always just that active and defending.
I think it's like